Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, we could really use your help. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, recently named the Two Opinionated podcast one of its top 100 podcasts. This is a monumental feat for this program. We're a father and son team out of a small town in West Virginia, have been doing this for about 5 years. There's 15 million podcasts out there. About 40,000 of those get to the point that they're listed on IMDb. Out of those 40,000 out of the 15 million, we were ranked number 82. Something that we're just immensely proud of. We're so thankful for our listeners, our watchers, our fans. Thank you so, so much. If you would like to help us out, and we're asking for it, please. It's easy. It's really easy. It's free. If you go to IMDb, that's imdb.com, look up Two Opinionated Podcast, and just take a look at the page. That's all you have to do. I mean, you're welcome to look at the cast, look at the episodes so you can kind of see who's been on the program. Do whatever you want. But even just bringing up the page, imdb.com, Two Opinionated Podcast, bring up the page, look at it. That helps us so much. So please, if you can do anything, we would really appreciate that. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Love to have your subscription there. It's also free. And you can also check out our website, meistercon.com, where you'll find almost 700 episodes, audio and video, available on there. There's also a terrific blog from Brett, and it'll let you know anything that we have going on in studio, if we're covering a convention, if we're going on location, anything that we have going on will be on the website, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so, so much. We appreciate you so much. I can't express enough how appreciative we are of all of you. We never expected to do as well as we have, and that's all because of you. Thank you so much. Enjoy that interview. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Two Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got singer-songwriter Kay Victoria with me. So welcome, Kay Victoria.
Hello. Thank you for having me here.
You have got a terrific voice.
Oh, thank you. So
You probably know.
Appreciate the compliment. No, I appreciate the compliment. Every time I really do it because I love it, but compliments always matter. So
I told you my wife works for Live Nation, so she's all about the music. She constantly listens to music. But we've been listening to your stuff over the weekend and through the early part of the week, and she's already putting you on the playlist. She loved it. Absolutely terrific.
So I love that. Tell her thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I will, because it's I liked it, and I'm a terrible explainer about why I liked it. But to me, it had a little bit of pop, had a little bit of R&B, maybe even a little soul. I mean, it was difficult to pin it down to just one genre.
Sounds about right. I've been my whole career trying to box it in and bring it into one thing because I'm so I'm just inspired by music and life, so it all comes out. But it's R&B as a foundational
Yeah.
a foundational sound. But yeah, it does get
I think that's good.
Yeah, it gets interesting.
That allows you to pop up on all kinds of different charts.
Yeah, and different people hear me. So I don't mind, spreading the love. That's what
Well,
it is.
so let's start this way. Tell me a little bit about what got you into music. Why did you want to become a singer?
Oh, wow. So, I can't equate that to a particular reason. I just loved music. Ever since I was little, I would just stand up and on crates and sing just randomly. It was just naturally coming from me. And, I would perform for my family. I don't mean just like walking down the streets and just walk stepping out, right? But like, in front of my family and friends, like if there was any like little makeshift stage or something I could turn into a stage, I would just like step up on it and sing. And this was like 3, 4, 5 years old. And it's like no lyrics, like when does the song end? So I knew I had a natural passion for it
Yeah.
from there. And so I was always into writing. I loved writing poetry, and then I started writing like short stories and like plays and stuff like in elementary,
Oh,
like okay, I
really?
did an
Okay.
Archie play, and I'm like, okay, let's cast it and stuff. So I was always into writing. And then when I really started singing like in a girl group in high school, we got a chance to write a song. Like we met with this
Yeah.
producer, he gave us a beat, and he was like, okay, we all got the beat, and we're like, okay, whoever writes the song first, we'll check it out. And like I had my song written like overnight. So brought it to the girls, and everybody loved it. And we actually got a chance to record it. So from then it was like I was sold. I was like, I love this. It's just a whole bunch of things that I love all in one.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, did you kind of figure out, what your sound was fairly early on, or did that evolve over time?
It definitely evolved over time, but as far as like R&B being the foundation, like I grew up singing like, I really like Brandy as an artist and
Yeah.
Mariah Carey. So I grew up really listening to their sound and inspiring me. And then, of course, like Aaliyah. And so those were the songs that I really wanted to like emulate and sing. And then, of course, Destiny's Child came out and was like, oh, this is cool. I like their little vibe. That when they started out, of course, right? So
We all like that little vibe.
yeah, it was different, but then it was still like, kind of reminded me of like the classics. So I was like, okay, I can be a little different and still keep it like, you know, like I don't know, like a classic sound that almost anyone could appreciate. So I really loved Whitney Houston too for her vocals. Like I
Yeah, of
just
course.
like she's an amazing vocalist. And so she, as far as like singing, she inspired my sound. And then growing up in the Virgin Islands, like I'm originally from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. I was really like around Caribbean music and artists. And so that just, go to school, we're all hanging with my friends and stuff, and what we listen to going out to, events. So it all just kind of is in the music now. I got Caribbean inspired music. Then I've got even like the neo soul, like the India Ari and
Oh,
Erica
yeah.
Badu. Like you can like how you said, you can sometimes hear that in the music because I was really inspired by that. It's just something about soul music is so true.
Erica Badu was the one when my wife was listening. That's who she brought up. She's like, "Oh,
You
that
know,
reminds me of this." To me, I was like, I don't know. It kind of, I was naming like Brandy, Maya, some of
yes.
those type of singers. I didn't think of Destiny's Child, but it fits.
I mean, as a brand, as an image, they showed like, oh, this could be for me too. Like just seeing how they switched it up. Like, I don't think they musically inspired me, but just seeing it, that like impacted my overall vibes. So I guess you were asking about the sound, but
Well,
that
that makes sense because
yeah.
they were one of the first ones that really had a presence, with their performances. It wasn't just I mean, they're incredible singers, obviously, but it wasn't just about the singing and the music. It was the whole package, the whole entertainment.
Yeah, like they re-evoked like R&B for like I guess our like the time when I was like trying to see what kind of artists
Yeah.
I would develop into. But Erica Badu, I wouldn't say I wasn't necessarily directly inspired by her. I was more like directly inspired by Jill Scott and like India Ari.
Yeah.
But of
Yeah.
course, Erica Badu, like you hear her on the radio, and she has great songs. So she has some really good records that everybody knows. So it was like I could see how she could say that too, you know? So yeah, I'm just
I mean, that has to feel good that people listening are hearing different things, but they're all enjoying it.
yeah, I once they enjoy it, that's good for me. And that's the purpose to, you know,
Yeah,
sound
of
good,
course.
make you feel good.
That's the best part about music, and the really good songs, you can hear them decades later and it immediately takes you right back to that moment in time.
Right. And I've always wanted to make classic songs and music that, transcends time. So,
Mhm.
but just like, let it come naturally. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, of course. So speaking of classic type of songs, you've got a Christmas song out.
Yes, I do.
So tell me about that. What's the song? What's it about?
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. It is one of my favorite Christmas songs, like of all time.
Mine too. That's
It
it's a classic.
and I found myself singing it over the years, just at different, family function. I actually sang it at family function last year. And just in general, it's just the one that I go to.
Yeah.
There's little drummer boy and stuff, but I was like, no, we got to do this classic "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas"
Yeah.
this year. And we
Well, and
just
you got a little saxophone in there, which I liked.
Yes, Tim Kirsch, he's featured on it. He did an amazing job. I just love he just added just magic flair to it. I'm like, oh, it's just great. So I'm really grateful for his contribution and just the band. Everybody that was a part of the recording was a live band recording. So we just had just awesome instrumentalists. They had such great vibes, and we all just put it in the record and recorded it that day. And
That's pretty
so
amazing.
yeah, it even reminded me of, like, just that Motown feel, like when you watch the movies about
Oh
Motown
yeah.
and all the singers and the bands in the room. So I just absolutely loved that we're able to bring that energy to this record. And yeah, so it's like a classic soulful, but has the R&B and the sax feel. It's just like you could just make your charcuterie board and throw that on, and
Yeah,
just
you're
enjoy the
exactly
holiday.
right. That's you put that on in the background and you got your snacks and your wine and that's an
Yes.
evening. That's a date night.
That saxo just brings out the vibes. So,
Yeah.
and then, I sing from my heart, and it was really heartfelt, just for everything that this holidays mean to me and to everyone who celebrates. And so I want to make sure that you all felt me on that, y'all felt me on that record. So I'm glad. I'm
Yeah.
glad it's
Yeah, it's so good. It was so good. What's the plan going forward? Will you be releasing more music after the first of the year? Are you building up to an album? What's the plan?
No, I'm releasing more music. You can tell I'm just like fired up. But no, I actually am planning on releasing a single this coming should be in January.
Yeah. That's
I,
coming
I would
fast.
say, yeah, I would say I don't want to like say exact time, because once it's confirmed, I'm like, okay, but
Right.
all the arrows are pointing towards the beginning, like soon. Let's just say soon. Stay tuned with me on my Instagram at IMK Victoria, and you'll know all about that. Let me just stop like a little bit. No, but yeah, so I'm really excited about at the turn of the year releasing some new music. Right now I'm working with Charles Chizzy Stevens. He
Oh,
has worked on some records with Chris Brown,
yeah, he's
and
big time.
yeah, he's it's a blessing to work with. Just I really, I've worked with producers before, but I think I've always, a lot of the times, I kind of co-produce.
Yeah.
I experienced that with Have Yourself too, where I didn't produce. I was there to put in my 2 cents. I
Yeah.
love the people that I've been working with lately, because they always ask my opinion. They say, "What do you want it to sound like? What's the direction you're thinking?" And I was able to give that even to the Christmas song and say, "These are my references," and so I love
Well, it's
that. I'm
your
excited
music.
to
You
say
should
that.
have some input.
Absolutely. And it's always been that way. Like I said, I'm very sincere to what I do. So I always want to give it what I'm gonna sing, like what I'm gonna sound like, what I'm gonna talk about.
Well, yeah.
So with this with Chizzy, it's like I get to really just create and be the artist and the performer, and he, is producing the record and bringing it all together. And so I can just kind of, just be like wild out a little bit in my creative space,
That's
and
right.
then, he does the production, like bringing it all together sometime, in a sense.
Yeah,
So
no,
I
that's
love that. I love that as a new experience working with the producer.
yeah.
And so
So
it's great.
what's the name of the new single?
So the single coming out is called If You Believe. Actually, that song, it has been produced by Jim Covell, who also did the Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
Oh, very nice.
The records that I'm working on with Chizzy, it might be in January, but definitely the top of the year that we're considering releasing those. So, we're planning on
How do
putting
you
out
pick?
songs in the new year.
Yeah, how do you pick the or what song to release when? Is that a big process, or do you just go, I think I'll do this one?
I think, it's about what feels right
Yeah.
to the team. I definitely lean on my team a lot when it comes to, those decisions. I also, because once I love the song, I love the song.
Right.
Everybody need to hear it right now. Okay.
Well, that's
You
how
know?
I'd have trouble not just putting it all out there at one time because I want everybody to hear it.
Yeah, so when it comes to timing and all this, I'm not so particular as long as it's soon. Okay.
That's
So
right.
if we want to make sure we get the right promotions behind it, we want to make sure we get the right cover and the right production, even if it
Right.
takes, going back in a couple times. And so that needs to be done first. And once that's done, it's out, you know.
What's If You'd Believe about?
So if you believe it's like an inspirational, spiritual song.
Yeah.
Just talks about, if you believe, it's almost like the perspective of Jesus and like God,
Okay. Yeah.
or your spiritual
I mean, that
guidance.
sounds kind of like a holiday song too.
It could be, but it's also just inspirational. I wouldn't
Yeah.
even say it's gospel necessarily, but it would be in the inspirational category to me,
Well, we
because
love that type of music, and it's a pretty good time for it because we all need a little bit of positive
if
energy.
you believe, yes. And so it kind of gears people to just believe in themselves, believe in the higher power that guides you, trust, your journey. It's a lot about trusting the process. And so it's really positive.
Yeah, I love that. Did you sing in a choir growing up?
I sang in my school choir,
Yeah,
and
very
I sang
nice.
in the gospel choir in college when I went to Berkeley.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Well,
So,
you've got that type of voice that could lend itself to gospel music if that's the route you wanted to take, because
oh yes,
you've got a very
absolutely.
strong voice and it projects well. You could totally do gospel.
It would be just amazing to be able to do gospel records in the future.
Yeah.
And so I'm just so open to my journey. I really just trust that, like I trust the process that, it's all working together.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Where
I just, like I said, I'm sincere. I do what I love. So that's what you're gonna always hear in the moment.
I mean, it's tough to have too hard of a time if you're doing something you love.
like, and people could hear it. Like we were talking about that. Like people can hear where you're at when you sing the music,
That's right.
when you put out the music, you know, they can feel that. So you might as well do what you love, do what you feel
Yeah,
is
for sure.
right for you.
Yeah. Well, and I was checking out some of your videos for your songs. Where do you come up with the ideas for the videos? Because they were very well done. Some of the quality on the video is really strong.
Well, thank you. I just get inspired. Like a lot of the video ideas I had in the back of my mind, and then some of them, I'm working with a videographer or a, video producer, and he's like, I got some scene ideas, boop, boop, boop. You want to add something? I'm like, oh, well, I thought of this, or maybe we can enhance this. So it's always like a team effort, but I am a very creative person. So I will there are times I jumped into the creative mode. So it's always fun. It's always a good time.
Have you ever considered acting?
I have. I've actually acted in a film called Timeless. It's out on Amazon Prime right now.
Very nice. Well, tell
Yes,
me about that.
played.
What's the role?
Woo! I played a wicked broad. For real, for real. I don't want to tell too much of this
I was gonna say
story.
that was probably a fun role to play.
It was super fun. It was so fun because it wasn't me, and it gave me the chance to like really dive into a character and their world and their perspective, and it was like just busting all my acting chops, like all. So I love that, from the emotion to the conviction and just being true to the character. So it's a very entertaining film. It's called
What's the film about?
It's actually it's a Virgin Islands love story, and
Okay.
it talks about two characters that are connected beyond what the eyes can see. So there's kind of like a spiritual story that transcends from like I call like 18th century Ghana to
Yeah.
like modern day Caribbean times, and there are metaphors with like hurricanes and stuff. You gotta
That's
check it out.
awesome. Yeah, I got to check that out. That sounds great. I kind of
Yeah.
had that feeling that if you weren't acting, you were probably at least thinking about it.
Yeah, I played a Virgin Islands senator, so a Senate president. So,
Well, so yeah, if you're going to do a role, you might as well do a good one. I mean, that sounds like a great role.
it was a lot of fun. It was, yeah, she had so many layers to her character and, her persona. So you can unpack that anytime. It's on Amazon Prime.
Well, we're always looking for content to watch. You would think there's so much out there, but with the strikes especially, we're a little more limited than we are used to. So if there's a movie out there that's good, I'm in. Date night.
Absolutely. And then just like you got the plug, you got the plug from me. So it's like even interesting. I think like it'd be cool to watch movies from like people that I know and stuff. Like I always wonder like how it is when I tell people and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna go watch it." They seem so excited. So I'm like, that must be cool. And then I get excited because I know they know me and they just want to check it out. But yeah, I've always had a passion for acting, and I just naturally gravitate to it. I've even took some classes this year
Oh, good for you.
just to keep it flowing, keep it going. And I'm actually hoping for the new year to have some more things developing in that
Yeah.
route.
Oh, that's exciting.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's busy though. It sounds like you're going to have a very busy year.
Busy as busy does. I mean, I'm having fun. I love what I do. So that's a good busy, right? Like
That's so
once
great.
it's manageable, I'm all about self-care and maintenance and that sort of thing. Just being realistic and
Yeah.
be to yourself. Like check in. Okay, I'm good. Let's go for it. That's how we're gonna do the whole year through. I rhymed there. But yeah.
Well, you're a poet. So
Excuse me.
you
Yeah,
you
I tend to do that.
you used to do some of the beauty pageants and did very well with those. Did that help you kind of develop a let's say a stage presence or a performing presence?
Oh, absolutely, definitely. I think even from that time growing up in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, there wasn't like that much opportunity. You say you want to be a singer, and I'm from there. It's like, okay, what can I do? These pageants gave you the opportunity to travel, it gave you the opportunity to meet people, it gave you the opportunity to perform on stages. So I just like latched onto that. Like, okay, that was basically my driving force behind the pageants. I was like, this is a way into what I want to do, and to developing it more and to experiencing it more to even see how much I like it and how I want to grow at it. And, it was
Well,
a
yeah.
phase that was so important.
Well, and it would have to help with the being on a stage in front of a billion people. You know,
Oh yeah,
that has to help with just getting used to that and being, being relaxed and comfortable up, in front of people.
definitely. Just from the beginning, from the first pageant I did, Hal Jackson's Talented Teen, in St. Croix, it was a little crowd, but heading to, the performance in Wenzhou, China for the Miss World competition, just a next level auditorium. I don't think I've ever seen that much people. Like this, the section where the Miss World organization was sitting was just like, it was covering like the small front of the room, and that was like hundreds of people. So I was like, wait, how many people are in here? You know?
Well, there
So
is world in the title.
definitely helped. It definitely helped. Wait, what'd you say? It was
I said there is world in the title, so probably a lot of people.
it was it was a huge place. So you're definitely right about that. It helped me get comfortable performing in front on big stages and in front of a lot of people. And
I'm assuming that your talent was singing.
it was. I sang "I Will Always Love You" from Whitney Houston. And
yeah. Well, you picked a great song, but that's a scary song to sing too, because it's difficult to sing it as well as Whitney, but you definitely have the voice for it.
thank you. Yes, that was actually the first song I sang solo for like what was it? A talent show? Because I always sang in a group. And so it took me a lot of nights practicing and a lot of nights like
There's some
getting
notes in that one
for that song to be able to have the confidence to just go out there. So I'm not gonna lie. You're right about that. Yeah, there was a process behind that. So as I say, Whitney Houston, she is, the GOAT, as they like to say. She's, I'll forever may she rest in peace. I just appreciate her. Like, I mean,
I know.
on a voice level, like who is, who is better? Like, I mean,
I don't think there is anybody better. Yeah, she's amazing.
and I'm like, not the type to say everybody has a gift. And I feel like, you can't always, compare talents, but Whitney Houston, I'm just like, that's my girl. Leave her alone. We're going to keep,
right. Leave her alone.
Period.
I saw her in concert back in the 80s. So she had just released her first album. That's all she had out. And it's still, I mean, it's 40 years later. It's still one of the best concerts I've ever seen. And she didn't have nearly the catalog that she would end up with. She just had the one album, but her voice, just unbelievable.
Yes, she is quite the star.
I still remember Levert opened for her. If you remember Levert. Casanova, I think, was their big song.
Oh, okay, Levert.
I know I'm dating myself. It's probably, and I said 40, it's probably more like 35 years ago, but it is a long time ago.
No, I mean, I believe it. Like Levert, that reminds me of like what an R&B group was it?
Yeah, I believe it was.
I'm thinking Darrell Levert, which is like I know he was a part of this R&B.
Yeah, I think he was. I think you're right. And then he just Levert was
he went solo. He went solo.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've been like, he's been on my radar from.
Yeah. It was good. He was good.
Yeah. Oh, I could imagine. He's very talented.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I know that you've performed at the Apollo. How did that come about?
Well, I got invited there. I can't remember exactly how I got invited.
They don't invite just anybody, though.
No, they don't. I was in the Hal Jackson Talented Teen competition, and they had the International Hal Jackson Talented Teen competition, and I was in the top 5 of that, and the winner of that competition got a chance to perform at the Apollo that same night.
Oh, wow.
And so I think it may have been through there that they said, okay, we want Kamisha to also perform. And, we both performed that night and it was just amazing. Like there was like a tiebreaker thing between me and her, who was gonna win. And they were like, it went over me and then over her and over me and over her.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it was kind of like a big deal. So I mean, she won the tiebreaker, but I mean, it's
Yeah, but
because
you took her right to the edge.
yeah, and it's like everybody was in the audience, a part of the organization, so they were just like all standing up for her, and I'm like, yeah, no, but it was great. It was great. Like, I
That's
feel
awesome.
like just being able to be there was,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, that's worth it.
it was amazing.
Yeah.
And like I would definitely just credit them for just always like looking out, because they could have just had her perform and not even invite me. So, but from that experience, they asked me to come back again after the show. They were like, yeah, you didn't win, but you did good.
Hey, if they invited you back to the Apollo, you did better than good. You did great.
Yeah, and then so I came back and performed again. So I actually performed twice.
Yeah. Not too many people can say that.
Yeah, I'm glad for the opportunity.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
really am.
What do you have plans at some point to tour or to do live shows?
Definitely, I am going to be touring this new project. We most likely, I mean, we haven't planned dates and everything.
Yeah.
I think it's just like step by step, like, we're gonna release
We
the
got to get the
project.
music out first.
Yeah, but I know we've definitely had conversations about that, or just like performing. So I will have more information about that on my
That's
Instagram.
right.
If you follow me.
Upcoming.
Yep, coming soon.
Well, Kamisha, thank you so much. This has been terrific. I knew it would be. I was so excited to talk with you. Absolutely love the music. And I know I'm going to hear it all the time because I don't have my own, personal playlist, but my wife does, which is what we normally listen to. So I know your stuff's going to pop up all the time. Can't wait.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I hope like, no, was just really grateful for this and just for every opportunity that I ever had. And I'm happy to be here doing what I love.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. And,
What it's
spreading
about.
the love, spreading the good vibes. So
Well, you got
thank
an open invitation. So anytime you have something coming out, you want to come back, just shoot me a note. We'll put you back on.
I definitely look forward to it. I will definitely let you know. And yeah, this has been great. Thank you so much.
It's been so much fun. Before we go, run through your social media one more time.
Okay, so for those of you who want to follow me on social media, my Instagram is at IamKVictoria. My Facebook is facebook.com/KVictoriaMusic and twitter.com/IamKVictoria.
Yeah,
That's
pretty good. Pretty good. I like the I am. I like that.
because I am.
All right,
That
Kamisha, hold on one second. That was K Victoria, Kamisha Counts. Absolutely love her music. If you haven't heard her before, definitely look that up. You can start with "Have Yourself a Merry Christmas." If you're a saxophone fan, it's terrific, and Kamisha's voice is just unbelievable. It's so good. Definitely got some R&B vibes, some pop vibes, a little bit of soul in there. It's unique. I'll say this: it's unique, but it's also classic because it definitely harkens back. And when you listen to it, you'll get little hints of people that have inspired her, singers, musicians that have inspired her, and I loved it. It's really really good. The song coming after the first of the year will be "If You'd Believe," inspirational song. So definitely check that out as well. Give her your support. she was the Miss American Virgin Islands, got to compete in the Miss World competition, which I'm sure she did terrific. I mean, she's got the talent portion down. Lovely lady. I think she was probably really good in that. I got a feeling she's good at about everything she tries. And she could probably put out a book of poetry and do really well too. So can't wait to see the movie Timeless. Definitely gonna check that out on Amazon. So please do that as well. With her personality, I think she'd make a heck of an actress. So I'm looking forward to seeing her on screen as well. If you're finding us for the first time, thank you. We'd love to have your support. It's easy to do. It's free. You know, if you like to watch, our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. We do ask that you would subscribe, or if you could subscribe, really helps us out. Doesn't cost you anything, but we use those subscriptions to help us to bring on these great guests. If you prefer to listen, anywhere you listen to your podcast at, just subscribe there. That'll help us as well. Our website is meistercon.com. We're just a couple away from 700 episodes. I can't believe it, but you can find all of those audio and video on our website, meistercon.com. So definitely check us out there. It'll let you know anything that we have going on or anything that we're doing. Lastly, IMDb, which is the entertainment database, recently named us a top 100 podcast. I can't believe it. You know, we're just a father and son team, little town in West Virginia. We're just doing this as a way to bond as a father and son. No aspirations that it would ever become something, and it has. And I can't believe it, but I'm so grateful. That's all due to all of you. So yeah, imdb.com. If you want to check it out, you can look up the Two Opinionated podcast. That traffic on the page definitely helps us. But to be named to a top 100 list, there's 15 million podcasts. I mean, it's just you can tell I'm still having trouble coming to terms with it. I'm so grateful. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. I will attempt to shut up now. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm once again here to ask for your support. It's been a big year for the Two Opinionated podcast. Back in February, we got to live out a dream, moderate for William Shatner here in our hometown. In May, we passed 100,000 downloads on our YouTube channel, and we followed that up in June with 50,000 downloads on the audio side. We recently posted our 600th episode, which is pretty good volume for just a father and son operation. You know, not too many podcasts can keep that volume up. We've been doing this now for 4.5 years, 600 plus episodes. We recently hit 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is a really big deal for us because we've always gotten the views, but have struggled to get people to subscribe. So that 1,000 was a big deal for us. And best of all, we were recently named one of the top podcasts on IMDb, which is the entertainment database. You know, those that are ahead of us, we came in at number 82. Those that are ahead of us are bigger companies like Disney, mostly Marvel, and Joe Rogan, that type of podcast. So for us, being just a small West Virginia father and son podcast, to be in the top 100 out of 15 million, it's a pretty big deal for us. So thank you for everything you've done for us so far. Got a couple little ways, though, that you can help us, and they're free, and they're really easy. If you haven't checked out our YouTube channel yet, please go to YouTube. It's under MeisterCon Pod. Just hit subscribe. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Really helps us a ton. And maybe even more important, if you could go to imdb.com, look up the Two Opinionated podcast, and just look around the page. Just having that traffic on the page really helps us out. So that's a couple easy ways that you can support us, even if you're not listening or watching all of the time. And we want you to listen and watch, because I think that our guest list, I would put up against anybody, any other show, podcast, anybody out there. I think our guest list holds up. So please check us out. You probably will find somebody that you like, or maybe somebody that you didn't know you liked, but kind of discovered them on there. There's tons of that. If you're into music, we have that too. If you like books, we've got authors on there. If you're more into what goes on behind the scenes in the entertainment world, we've got producers, directors, video artists, anything you can think of that happens behind the scenes, we've had them on the show. So definitely check us out. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.